All right, let's talk about an AI that's so powerful, it's basically being kept under lock and key. It's a model called Claude Mythos, and trust me, it's not just another coding assistant. It's about to completely flip the script on cybersecurity as we know it. So just imagine this for a second. What if an AI could do more than just find a typo in your code? What if it could actually understand what you were trying to build and then find the deep, logical flaws in your plan before you even finish typing? Well, that's not science fiction anymore. That's the world we're stepping into right now. Okay, here's our game plan. First, we're going to look at the invisible cracks that are hiding in almost all modern software. Then, we'll meet the new AI Guardian that was built specifically to hunt them down. We'll get into how it thinks, explore the new rules this creates for developers, and finally, I'll give you a playbook for how to adapt and even win in this brand new era. To really get why Mythos is such a huge deal, we first have to understand the problem it's solving. I mean, why are even the biggest tech companies on the planet still so vulnerable to attacks? It all comes down to the hidden cracks in our code. You know, you can think of modern software as this giant skyscraper built on a foundation that nobody can really see anymore. It's just layers and layers of code, all stacked on top of other people's code, creating this incredibly tangled web. All that complexity, it creates these invisible risks that are pretty much impossible for any single human or even a team of humans to keep track of. And we're not talking about simple typos here. These are the deep, nasty, systemic flaws. You've got things like transitive dependencies. That's a vulnerability that's not even in your code, but in a library that your library depends on. Good luck finding that one manually. Then you have logical race conditions, these really subtle timing bugs that only pop up under super specific circumstances. And of course, you've got the classics, things like broken authentication, developers leaving passwords hard-coded right there in the source code, insecure input handling that opens the door for hackers, and access controls that are way too permissive, basically handing over the keys to the kingdom if an attacker finds one tiny crack. Yeah, this is the stuff that keeps security engineers up at night. So, how do you fight an enemy you can't even see? Well, you build a guardian that can. And that's where Claude Mythos comes in. This isn't just another security scanner, it's a totally new way of playing defense. Now, Mythos is what's called a gated frontier model, and this is super important. Unlike the AIs you and I might use every day, you can't just get access to this one. Why? Because an AI this good at finding security holes could be an unbelievably powerful weapon in the wrong hands. It's a specialist, an expert tool built for the incredibly high-stakes world of cybersecurity. And this right here really shows you the critical difference. We're all getting used to coding assistants that help us write code faster, right? They're like a helpful writing assistant. Mythos? It's not a writer, it's a detective. Its entire purpose is what's called systemic deconstruction, basically taking your entire system apart, piece by piece, to find every single hidden weakness. So, if it's not just a simple bug scanner, then what exactly is going on under the hood? Let's try to get inside its head for a minute and see how this thing actually thinks. This quote says it all, really. A normal scanner, it's like a spell checker. It just looks for obvious mistakes, for typos in the code. Mythos is like a master editor who reads your entire novel to see if the plot actually makes sense. It understands the systemic intent, what you were trying to accomplish with the code, and it finds the flaws in the logic itself. But look, finding the bug is only half the battle. The real game changer here is the speed of the fix. In the industry, they call this remediation velocity. Mythos doesn't just wave a red flag and say, problem here. No, it pinpoints the exact line of code, generates the exact patch you need to fix it, and then even verifies that the fix meets all your internal compliance standards. It closes that entire loop from discovery to deployment in just a fraction of the time. It's incredible. Hey, quick pause. We're a really small team, and we love breaking down this kind of future-defining tech. If you're finding this valuable, please take a second to hit that subscribe button. We're trying to get to our first big milestone of 1,000 subscribers. And honestly, your support makes all the difference. Thanks. Okay, now let's get back to what this means for the future of building software. A tool this powerful doesn't just change how you do your work, it rewrites the entire rulebook for the industry. So what does software development even look like in a post-Mythos world? This timeline really puts the whole shift into perspective. You know, in the past, we had humans manually reviewing code, which was slow, expensive, and super error-prone. Right now, we're in the present, where AI helps us fix things faster. But the future that Mythos is ushering in, that's one of AI-verified compliance. A world where security is no longer a human gatekeeper you have to get past, but an automated, constant part of the development process itself. And this changes everything, especially for managers. AI is evolving from just being a cool productivity tool that helps your team code faster into a absolutely critical governance tool. For engineering leaders, this means security is no longer just the security team's problem. It's now a core engineering responsibility. And if you're not using AI to govern that risk, you are falling dangerously behind.
Okay, so that's the new reality. The big question is, what do you do about it? How should your organization adapt? Well, here's your strategic playbook for surviving and thriving in the Mythos era.
The playbook has three main phases. First up, auditable documentation. If you want an AI to understand your code's intent, you have to write it down clearly in a way machines can read. Second, adversarial integration. This is cool. You need to build your own internal blue team AIs that act like friendly attackers, constantly trying to break your systems to find the flaws before the real bad guys do. And third, and this is a big one, the talent shift. The new rock stars in this world are going to be security-centric AI architects, people who can not only build these incredibly complex systems, but also build the AI guardians that defend them. This quote just perfectly sums up the new mindset, doesn't it? It's a call to be deliberate and intentional in how we build, to rely on powerful automation to protect our work, and maybe most importantly, to stay humble and never assume our code is uncrackable. Look, this isn't some far-off, hypothetical future we're talking about. Claude Mythos represents a threshold that we have already crossed. It fundamentally changes the relationship between a developer, their code, and their security. The Mythos era is here. The only real question left is, are you ready for it?